Good morning. Thank you for listening to our broadcast live from the War Memorial. Joining us now, we got Tom Ewald. Thank you very much for having us, Tom Ewald. By the way, Tom, earlier today we talked and you said that you have openings because you have so many dealerships. And everybody can apply, but veterans are encouraged to apply.
They definitely are, yeah. Veterans are definitely encouraged to apply. It's right on our website, ewaldauto.com/careers.
Okay.
All the positions that are open are listed there, and even if it's not something that might be exactly what an individual might be thinking of, just send an application in and let us know you're a veteran. We'll definitely give it some consideration.
And this guy deals with veterans quite a bit, Jim Kliese. Jim's here from Honor Flights, Wisconsin. Thank you for joining us. And you guys have reached some pretty big milestones over the past year.
Yes, sir. We actually flew our 10,000th veteran from our hub this year, and to date, since 2008, we've flown 10,580 veterans.
That's amazing. And how long? What was the time span of that?
So we began in 2008, and through the end of this year, we're 10,500 vets.
So when you had your 10,000th, did you have like a parade or anything?
Well, what we did, this was unbeknownst to the veteran, of course. So when he showed up in the morning, we had a sash and hat and a special accoutrements.
That's
for him.
awesome.
So he was kind of like the centerpiece of attention all day.
How did he take that?
And well, he took it pretty well. It was like he was stunned at first, and then
A little overwhelmed, probably. Yeah.
kind of blended in with the program. But it was a milestone. And we want to get to 15,000. That's where we're shooting next.
So how do you get to 15,000? How do we get veterans on these flights?
The best thing we can do right now is get the word out, and you guys are helping that happen. This is amazing. I really appreciate being able to come here each year and talk about Stars and Stripes.
Are you kidding? We appreciate not only your service, but also the service of all of those who have taken advantage of it. And I can't believe there are still people, Jim, who don't know about the Honor Flight.
Well, and I would bet that there are a lot of veterans that think, nah, they're probably all filled up for years. They don't need me. I'm not going to apply.
Well, I think there's some that are just waiting, particularly Vietnam. That's who we're flying today. They're just kind of hanging in the shadows, thinking the other guy should go first. I wasn't in combat, or I don't deserve this, and that's not the case. We want to recognize every veteran, wherever they served and whatever they did. It makes no difference to us.
So when you talk about the wars, clearly because Father Time is undefeated, I'm assuming World War II vets, I mean, they've gone. Most of them are gone. All of them are gone. And so your transition from that to Korea, and now you mentioned Vietnam, would that be the bulk of who you're flying?
Yes.
Vietnam vets? Okay.
Correct, right now.
How many Vietnam vets do you know that were in this area?
I don't have a good number, honestly. I don't know. Statewide, there's over 40,000.
Wow.
Okay.
We've only flown 5,000. So there's a whole lot out there. And this being a population center, I would assume we've got a good number.
Yeah.
And you have spring flights coming up?
Correct. We'll start up in April. We'll have 3 spring flights, and then we'll do 3 flights in fall again.
And so how do if I know a veteran and I want to nominate them or tell them about a flight, how do we go about doing this?
So, encourage them to apply. Go to our website. Right at the very top of the website, it says apply to fly, and they can do an application right there. Some people are not comfortable using the computer, so there's a paper application you can print. If you don't have a printer, call our number that's shown on the website. We'll send one to you.
Okay.
We'll get you on that.
Does every member who flies, service member who flies, do they need a guardian with them?
We have a guardian that goes with each veteran. Most often it's a son or daughter, grandson. That's what we encourage. We want the next generation to experience the stay with that veteran.
That's a great point.
Hear the stories. That's our secondary mission. Our first mission is to fly veterans. Our secondary mission is to educate the next generation.
If I could jump in on this, Dave and Dorene, I had the privilege of being a guardian about 7.5 years ago, and I'm not a veteran. I'm passionate about our veterans, but if there's somebody out there that would like to help this cause and get involved, they can apply for being a guardian, because there's a lot of individuals that don't have that person to go with them, and it's a big deal.
Did you really?
I did.
Good job.
I just did this morning. Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was telling Dan, my dad passed away this past year, and he had some of his military stuff, and then his brother was in World War II, and I have a bunch of his stuff, and I wanted to offer it to Dan to see if there was anything in there that they might want, and he had asked me if I knew what something was, which I don't, because my uncle wouldn't talk about it. And so if we can get these veterans to talk about it to their grandchildren or their nieces or their nephews or their children or whatever, what a great way to continue on that, legacy.
Also, there's a lot of family history that's unspoken.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when that generation dies off, if they haven't spoken about it, it never gets
Right.
talked about.
Yep.
And what a great vehicle to be able to do that
Yeah.
with an honor.
So many times we hear from a guardian at the end of the day. I never knew that about my dad. My dad never talked to me about his service.
Right.
He was silent. And throughout this day, he actually opened up and talked about his service, which is, that's it.
Yes,
we
that's
wanna
what it's
see.
all about.
That's
Yeah.
what we want to see.
Absolutely.
It's,
Great.
it's meaningful on so many levels, the honor flight. It really, really, truly is. So aside from getting the word out, which is one mission people listening can do, is there any other way we can help the honor flight?
We have no staff, we have no paid staff. Our expenses are airplanes, food, buses, the apparel we give to the veterans. We need support for
Yeah.
that. And the support comes in from the community. So many times, a veteran, after his flight day, he'll say, I want to contribute. That can be done right from our website again, or a check can be sent to us. We're always looking for that. That's what keeps us moving. That's what keeps us going.
Right, it doesn't come free.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So Tom, back to your experiences. Explain what that day was like and some of the highlights of that day from your perspective.
Well, it's definitely, I would say, one of the top 10 days you could ever imagine living. And to go on the flight, we were on the tarmac, and there was an old World War II I forget the number, the trainer plane that was out there to escort us. The fire trucks had the big cannons of water over the plane, and then we took off and landed in Washington, D.C. And here's all the active military officers standing in line, clapping and congratulating, and then you go through with the motorcade and you're escorted throughout the city, and just going to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers and seeing the different memorials. We went to Vietnam, World War II, of course. We went to the Korean. We did a whole bunch, and then came back that night. I think the highlight was probably the mail call, where each veteran opens an envelope full of letters from people they know and people maybe they don't know. But then getting off the plane through that reception, coming into the airport with people just cheering. I mean, there's a couple thousand people.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're like 12 inches above the ground walking. It was just unbelievable. Oh my gosh,
All day.
it's moving.
Yeah.
And that was from the perspective of somebody who went as a guardian.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
I
that
was pushing a wheelchair.
And that
I
was
mean,
so powerful
yeah.
for you. I can't even imagine what it's like for the vets. I mean, none of us can. It's a really special moment.
The comments we get often are, it's the best day of my life with the exception of my wedding and the birth of my child. It's the next best thing in my life.
Jim, what's the website?
Stars and Stripes honorflight.org.
Okay, starsandstripeshonorflight.org. Thank you again
Thank
for
you.
your service and for all that you do.
Thank you.
Tom Ewald, thank you for sponsoring the broadcast and helping
Thanks
us
for
get
having
the
me.
word out.
Thanks for having us. Yep.
We have more from the War Memorial coming up on this Veterans Day 2022.